Hello everybody, welcome to your weekly astrology and tarot reading for the week of August 1st through the 7th. And I apologize that I always have to look at the calendar whenever I do these reports, and it would probably help if I looked in advance, but we live in such a strange relationship to time at present that I rather enjoy not really knowing the exact dates, and very often I am, like most of you I'm sure, gobsmacked by the fact that we are already at this advanced point of 2020. Happy August to all of you out there, and I hope you're celebrating in the Leo energy that I think we can all feel. We are coming up to the full moon in Aquarius this upcoming week, which will be square to Uranus in Taurus. And so I would say we can expect this to be a big pressure point coming to create change through chaos. Now, when I say chaos, I am speaking in the outer world, but internally in our lives, that can also be rapidly changing circumstances, situations evolving very quickly. We'll look into that in the reading. We also have a Mars and Jupiter square coming up, which is also an enormous catalyst of well, Mars isn't yet in retrograde, and the Mars energy in a fire sign, which it is in Aries right now, creates it's magnified by Jupiter, because that's what Jupiter does, is magnifies any energy that it is in correlation with. So that's a lot of aggressive shifts. Now that doesn't mean that you are necessarily going to be aggressive, but you may feel the energy surrounding circumstances in your life and these changes and this energy of the full moon to be forceful and directive and solidifying in many ways, which is a positive thing when you consider how we haven't had a lot of that. The fact that we do have a lot of fire going on right now is definitely a good thing, but we may also find ourselves in the position where we've been so starved of fire energy for so long now this year that we don't exactly know what to do with it. Fortunately, Venus is moving into Cancer, and that will help to level out those catalyzing energies. That's all I'm going to say for the astrology of this week. Let's hold intention for the full moon in Aquarius, which is a very alien energy. It's a very not that I'm saying that Aquarians are aliens, just the concept in this current state of mind. There's, something very new about this energy. And anytime that we have any kind of aspects in Aquarius at this very moment in time, and for the forthcoming months and years ahead of us, Aquarius is going to be a primary color as we move closer to that age of Aquarius, and that is letting go of all of the individuated pain process and religiosity and conformism of belief through trauma and the patriarchy of the Piscean age. Not that I'm saying that Pisces is patriarchal, but the way that it's played out for us in our belief systems has taken the patriarchal energies and sort of co-opted them into a structural belief system that is crumbling, as you've probably noticed. So we're moving into that Aquarian energy, which is much more about the collective innovating and coming together to build a future of equality and interconnectedness and innovation. And I'm sure we'll get to explore what that means exactly together over the course of the videos that we'll make in the months and years ahead, should that remain a possibility. We have some very intense oracle cards this week. I'm going to start with our Sacred Destiny oracle card, which is Power. And Power represents mountain thunder, and like the fist of God thrusting up towards the heavens, the stark, ragged mountain holds firm as thunderbolts crash down on all sides. The sound is deafening as it echoes from mountain peak to mountain peak. Mountains represent strength, power, and permanence, as well as being a potent symbol for attaining spiritual heights as they extend into the sky towards the heavens. Thunder and lightning traditionally represent surging power, enlightenment, and revelations of divine matters. Thunder ignites our deeper self and activates our primal and deep emotions. Together, the mountain and thunder symbolize immense power, vitality, and strength. The sacred landscape wants you to know that this is your time. This is the time to claim your power and step into your potential. This doesn't necessarily mean that you will be without fear. You might be feeling uncertain, but do it anyway. Be courageous. Let the world hear your voice. Take a stand. Stand up for yourself and for others. Share your passion. Teach from the heart. Write, and your words will have great meaning. Hold your body as if you are an incredibly valiant, noble, and brave person. After all, you are. Then, to double up on our empowerment message, our Spirit Animal Oracle card this week is number 44, Panther Spirit. Reclaim your power. Let's read what Panther Spirit has to tell us. The oracle message of Panther Spirit is that it takes courage to face challenges, and right now Panther Spirit is here to say that you are braver than you think. Now is the time to take risk and step into a different aspect of your being. Speak as you have never spoken before. Act as you always have dreamed you might have the courage to act. Love fearlessly and fully, and expect to feel the adrenaline rush as you are initiated into a new, braver, bolder self. Panther Spirit says the time for dreaming about what you want to do is giving way to that first courageous act towards reclaiming your Panther Spirit and power. Your new identity may feel strange at first, but you have what it takes, and your soul wants this. Be bold. And finally, to even out those energies, we have some softer curves to that description. We get yin again, and as you probably remember, yin is the divine feminine card, but it is mostly also about receptivity. And receptivity of what? Well, we got another card to clarify that. They came out together, and that is number 18, serendipity. And as we experience our empowerment, serendipity tells us that opportunity allied with readiness is on the horizon. The awareness of synchronicity, luck, and good fortune appearing as signs and symbols, a magical alignment of events. The oracle message is that you've stepped into alignment with the greater good, where your dreams and the collective dream resonate in exquisite harmony. Now is the time for luck and preparation to meet and create miracles that you could never have planned all by yourself. Keep in mind that you are a channel for providence right now, as a higher energy uses you as a force on behalf of the whole world. Your fortune becomes everyone's fortune. Everything you bring into being now will leave a wondrous legacy for others in the future. Your service to the world is being supported at this time. Expect the unexpected and smile, for Spirit loves you so very much. I got a little excited there. So, we need to be really open, right? For all of this to take hold. And how are we going to do that? Well, our Celtic Cross this week pretty much tells us, and I have not pulled clarifiers. I did pull the spread of the Celtic Cross, and we'll pull clarifiers together. But I wanted to try to get through this reading as quickly and as succinctly as possible for you, so that you can get on with finding those opportunities. And remember that receptivity, the yin energy, means that we have to be prepared for and open to allow serendipity into our lives. If we don't give ourselves those opportunities to expand and to be open, I'm not saying that it's not possible that opportunities and new thoughts and perspectives can come your way, but that said, let's do ourselves a favor and start externalizing our identities again a little bit more fiercely and in full leonine spirit. First of all, our underlying energy of the week is the Two of Wands. So it's a good sign that we are finally coming out of the Two of Swords energy, which has characterized a lot of our feelings for the last month or so, which is the inertia and the inability to choose between the two swords, perhaps even struggling between two truths, two perspectives on the world, politics, how we see the world, how we see our place in the world. And we've shifted out of that into a knowingness. I think that's been major in the last week. There's been this real sense of growing tired of walking on tiptoes and not having a full sense of commitment to who we are and who we want to be. So coming into that Two of Wands energy, that's a much more self-confident, much more decisive, much more determined flow. So that's nice that characterizes the overall energy, and it makes sense. At the center of our reading we have the Emperor. So the Emperor, of course, is, well, it's a very yang, masculine energy. It is Capricornian. It is about holding authority. It represents how we are feeling about ourselves, as I just said, about, coming into that self-confidence, moving out of the indecisiveness and the fear. And what covers that is the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups is encouraging us to, it's really more a representation of the flip side of the Emperor. That's how I'm experiencing it. It's like, don't get too caught up in your concepts of authority, because of course the risk with the Emperor is that we fall into authoritarianism as opposed to authority if we are too rigid. And the Page of Cups is asking us to steer clear of that rigidity and be open to the outcomes being reached in divine balance. The Justice card tells us that by holding space for the characteristics of the Page of Cups, which is a emotionally youthful, energized, flirtatious, excitable kind of emotional energy, and it's like, that doesn't mean that you can't hold authority by embodying those more playful characteristics. In fact, in many ways, especially when things are difficult in the outside world, having that ability to represent lightness and openness is exactly what inspires others, and then in turn allows for the chain of serendipity to unfold. And because we got the Justice card here outside of the explanation I just gave, I also think it's telling us that we are finally actually going to be receiving our just desserts after a long period of time of not so much deprivation, but conservatism and austerity outwardly in order to allow the development of the inner wealth to take precedence for a period of gestation, essentially. Coming out of our past energies, we actually have the King of Cups, so it's ironic that we move from having been in the embodiment of that authority over our emotions, perhaps as a result of all of that inner work, coming into that full understanding and ownership of ourselves emotionally, it in turn to eventually be able to re-embody a more youthful, more energized, more ambitious, and more receptive desire for new experiences, new emotional experiences, new development of emotional responses. Yeah, that's actually what it is. It's that inner authority of the Emperor gives us the opportunity to know how to use charm to flow more harmoniously in our interactions with other people. So where perhaps before relationships could easily become problematic or testy, or boundary driven, we're moving into a much more generous flow of energy. Our underlying foundational shift from that King of Cups, and where we're coming from emotionally in terms of what might be clouding our ability to do this, is that we find ourselves still slightly anchored in this Five of Cups energy. And this is really when we're so engrossed in a sense of loss that potentially we fail to see the serendipity and the opportunity flowing around us. We're moving out of that, so that's certainly not, I'm not telling you that that's characterizing anything any longer. But, you know, when you become so accustomed to that sort of limitation, to limiting yourself because of the experiences that you've had that have caused you to feel emotionally in poverty consciousness, that can inform our lives in a way that restricts opportunity. And I think we tend to play it safe. We can know ourselves very well emotionally, but even if we feel that we've healed past hurts, we carry that knowledge with us that then stays more in the swords energy, the intellect, and we're very much in the flow of cups here. So it's like there's a forced return to a focus on our emotions. Or there has been, should I say, and we are now we're giving ourselves permission to move out of that. Yeah. And how is this going to happen? Well, in our immediate future, we have the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles is about give and take. It's about even-handedness. It's about the yin and yang flow of the spirit, essentially. Generosity begets generosity. There's enough for everyone to go around, and what we reap is what we sow. All of those cliches apply here. And in this particular position, in our immediate future, I do have to say that I feel that there are material gifts coming in. And I look at the other deck as I was about to clarify, and this is actually staring right at me, so the same card. But I do want to take a clarifier on the Six of Pentacles to give us a little bit more of a sense of what direction this abundance and generosity are taking us. And we got the Five of Cups reversed. So there's that flow going from the past. So it is tying that in. This flow of generosity, in other words, when we give, we receive, and vice versa, that is exactly what is going to allow us to overcome the Five of Cups energy, now reversed, right? And what crowns us on that is the beautiful Magician. So all of this, I mean, we've got those oracle cards of power, we've got the Magician crowning us, we've got this flow coming out of emotional poverty, coming into a place of even flow in our lives, of feeling like less reliant on things that make us feel out of balance and out of alignment, and more in flow with new energies that offer much more of a streamlined, harmonious path forward. So that's beautiful. Should we take a clarifier on the Magician? There's not too much that I think that we can get from that, but because we know what it means. We're manifesting, well, again, more cups. The Queen of Cups clarifies that. So, and I do have to say that if you really look at the Magician, what stands out the most when I'm looking at it right now is the cup here. So a lot of emotional energy coming in the clarifiers. So the Queen of Cups is telling me that, you know, the Queen of Cups is so intuitively in touch with her emotional essence that she embodies everything emotionally that others desire and others aspire to and others emulate. And so it's being in that, again, self-confidence emotionally that sort of flips a switch for us, I feel, in this coming week. And what I think that comes down to is, you know, we've got the King of Cups, we've got the Page of Cups, we've got the Queen of Cups, we had, you know, those Five of Cups, both upright and reversed. You know, this is this division that we've had in the past between the yin and the yang of like our emotional life, that we flip back and forth based upon whether we're feeling fulfilled or even drunk on love or emotional fulfillment, or the illusion of that even. And then the other side of the coin of being completely closed off and, you know, in poverty consciousness and being emotionally miserly and self-protective and just cut off from our flow, essentially, you know, which is exactly what kind of forces us through those dark nights of the soul to really do the self-analysis in order to regain the strength to be able to take more chances. But as we all know, very often we shy away from doing that the more mature we become, because it feels like there's so much more to lose. But very often the reason that we find ourselves in that place is because we're in the Four of Cups energy. And the Four of Cups energy keeps us focused on the idea of not being able to have the things we actually desire. You know, even from a spiritual perspective, you know, so many of us that have been on this awakening path have tended to see it as such a solitary journey, and to feel that nobody else can understand what we're feeling. Nobody else can you know, it's not to take away, we don't take away from other people's spiritual journeys, but we see them as parallel rather than interwoven and perhaps even synergistic. So this emotional flow of knowledge and self-confidence and self-knowing is eliminating that tendency to think small or to be self-protective, and to once again be willing to take chances on connecting to the outside world. Now, obviously, in the time of coronavirus, it's also highly unlikely that most of us are going to suddenly develop, you know, massive new relationship circles in our lives. But again, serendipity and power are our underlying oracle messages of the week. So what did we say at the beginning? just embody the energy. Be light, be joyful, be emotionally playful with other people, and see what manifests from that. Because in our present environmentally, we have the Ace of Wands. This is us in our environment. So this is us coming with that very feisty, well, it is again self-confident energy. I mean, the Ace of Wands is it's the provocateur. It's the energy of knowingness that our ideas are inspiring, and I can't find the right words. They're not coming to me. Maybe I should just clarify it, and that will, it'll give us more of a sense of exactly what that Ace of Wands is. But I mean, it's opportunity, but it's inspired opportunity. And interesting, it comes with a pang, because we got the Tower. And of course, what we have to remember is right now in our lives, we're not talking about towers any longer that are destructive of things that we want to keep. We're talking about towers being opportunities to move beyond things that restrict us. So something rather sudden, a sudden change, that Uranus and Taurus energy in square, as we talked about, to Mars, is going to catapult us somehow. Something radical is going to happen for us. Personally, I already have experienced the knowledge of this shift, knowing that it's going to change the course of my own personal environment and how I spend my time and what my focus is going to be on for the next month. That something, a tower-like experience has dictated that. It isn't something that feels difficult or unpleasant to me, but it's a definite sudden change. I don't need to go into the details, but because I want you to find that in your own life, but be open to it, be aware of it, and allow it to flow in. It can be something as small as making your own commitment to an inspired practice of something that is improves your life on a daily basis. Whatever it is, it's inspired, it's a guaranteed success. It's bringing something new, fresh, and very important, because in your environment, outer environment, you've got this boring Four of Pentacles energy. This is like telling us that our environments have become stagnant and stale, and that we need this Tower to bring something new. And it's not like we really have much of a choice. And the Four of Pentacles in our environment, clarified by the Two of Cups and the High Priestess. So this massive shift in our lives is making room for us to explore our spirituality more deeply, to practice it with more authority and more flow, to more freedom. And the Two of Cups, while often considered a romantic card, is also the representation of the self. This is the marriage of two parts within. So whatever that means to you, based upon your own personality and your own circumstances, look to that opportunity of manifestation of a synergistic flow within of two different parts of yourself that perhaps before you compartmentalized and now are finally coming into they're merging in order to make you powerful, right? Our psychology is ruled by the Queen of Wands for the week ahead, and the Queen of Wands, of course, is the ultimate sassy, self-confident queen. She knows exactly what she wants, she knows exactly how to get it, and she doesn't take no for an answer, but she always approaches it with charm, wit. She uses her wiles. It's total Leo energy, and we don't need to explore that any further. That's just let yourself flow in that energy. Feel it. It's summer. Enjoy it while it lasts, right? And our outcome, the Lovers. So, the Lovers is exactly the embodiment of that synergy that we were just talking about. And so this entire week ahead is really about coming into a greater understanding of how those synergistic elements within us flow. We've got the Magician energy and we've got the Lover's energy crowning us. This is all about empowerment. This is all about being, the empowerment that we have leads to healthy, fulfilling choices, decisions. We got the clarifier of the Seven of Wands on that, so I'm taking this as an understanding of what we're letting go of, by being in flow with our choices and being in a sense of knowingness and comfort in what, when we don't know what we want, life gets dark and confusing when the outside world is chaotic, because we're desperately trying to find some way to anchor ourselves for safety and security, right? Well, we're moving out of that dynamic, and the Seven of Wands is, Seven of Wands comes after the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is the victory card. The Seven of Wands is defending our victory. It's because you've proven who you are to yourself, so you're in that self-confidence. But you know what happens when you're in that flow? Other people want a piece of it, or they want to knock you down because it makes them feel insecure. That's just human nature, unfortunately. So, or fortunately, because it's a good character building experience. And when you know it, and you expect it, you know how to handle it. Excuse me. I have to get these cards. And the two other cards that came out to clarify that Lover's card are the Three of Swords and the Five of what is that? Five of Swords, sorry. So again, it's we're finally being released from the stories that we've been telling ourselves. All this work that we've been doing for the last couple of years since that eclipse cycle began in the summer of 2017. We know that we've come to the completion of that cycle, but at the same time, sometimes it takes a little while for us to understand exactly what that process has been and how it's going to serve us going forward. And how it's serving us going forward is being in our strength to defend our legacy and to know that the value of who we are is something that we've earned with blood, sweat, and tears, and so therefore it's not up for grabs for anybody else to assess differently. If someone doesn't like it, let them move on, cut the cord, and hold space for people who are interested in who you are and who do want to see you flourish and grow and who do love you and who are capable of loving you and allowing you to be exactly who you are. And this in turn eliminates that heartache and heartbreak. We saw this last week too, so it's an ongoing energy, but this as our outcome means that, we're vanquishing this. Gone. The sorrow, gone. And the egoic struggle as a result of that sorrow, also gone. Nothing to prove anymore. You are perfect as you are. It's so simple, right? But so hard to embody. And now you get to embody it. And on that note, I'm done. I love you and I wish you a really wonderful week because I feel like it's going to be a really, really good one. So make it happen. Namaste.